Welcome, University Supervisors for Clinical Practice Candidates at Point Loma Nazarene University. My name is Lori Call. I am the Clinical Practice Seminar Instructor and full-time faculty member at the Bakersfield campus. And what I wanted to do is just share with you some new items for Fall Quad 2 2020 for communication and connecting better with you, the supervisor. We have so many supervisors, and actually we have the most new supervisors I think I can remember or I've heard that we've had all at one time. So there's a lot of us trying to get on the same page. So in order to do that, I wanted to share with you my items that I've implemented to keep us all connected. So my first plan is to get us all into Canvas. Okay, so I am working on getting all of your emails, especially the new people that I haven't had on the list before, and adding you into Canvas to where your students are. CP1, we have one class of CP1, and then we have 2 classes of CP2. So I'm going to try and find out which students you have and put you in the correct class. So when I do, I'm going to put you in as a TA, a teacher's assistant. You will get a generated email to your email, Point Loma email account that says, would you like to join? So I would love for you to join if you would. And then this icon will pop up in, or whichever course, this is CP2 here and here, will pop up in your Canvas portal. And if you haven't used Canvas before, just let me know and I'd be happy to get you in, or Carolyn as well. But if you look up here, let's see if I pull it down, you can see it right up here. It's canvas.pointloma.edu, and then the first time you log in, you'll have to use your Point Loma account, email, and log in that way. So just let us know if you're having trouble getting in for the very first time. Once you go in, click on the course that you have students in. This happens to be CP1. Wanted to show you around a little bit what the students have in their course so that you know what they see and what they have. The benefit of using Canvas and just being able to get into it and see is to be able to know what the students are being updated with each day. I know for me that would be extremely helpful, especially if you're brand new, knowing what the students are being told, or if you've been doing this a long time. It feels like every quarter, every quad, we have little tweaks that need to be made, or because of COVID-19, this has been changed or that has been changed. So, especially right now, changes are coming fast, it feels like. So this is how I tell the students what's going on. For example, I've told them they can request a paper copy, you can come pick one up at my house, and then I'm welcoming them to CP. This is where their announcements sit every time. This is where I put them. That's what they show up on their homepage. And then the syllabus page. This is exactly what they need to know for the course, including dates and what we're doing each class time and the points connected to them. And then the most important place, well, actually, one of the most important places, the other important place is people that I want to show you, is modules. This is what they are being given to support them in the class. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is Clinical Practice 1 resources. The 3 most important resources I'm telling CP1 that they need is the TPA Assessment Guide, their Clinical Practice 1 Lesson Planner, and their CP Digital Binder. Those are the 3 resources that are the most important for them to have for this course. So the TPA Assessment Guides are here. You click on it, they have the option of downloading it. Clinical Practice Lesson Planner is here. They have the option of downloading it. But here is where they can also request copies. And I also, now that I'm thinking of it, need to include a sheet that I have made that I am allowing people to sign up on to tell me what they need, and then I tell them when it's ready, and I put it out on my doorstep, literally, and they just go out for contact list pickup. So, where was I? There we go. So requesting copies is there. And then the CP Digital Binder. We all remember the exciting debacle of the live binder of 2020, Fall Quad 1. That was truly intended to be helpful, and it was a crazy time. So I have, as we did anyway, moved over everything to Google, but I have put together a template binder that is there for you, that all you need to do is copy it, and everything's already there, so you don't have to do it yourself and load everything in, and don't want you to have to do that. So what you're going to do is click here, and I'm going to show you that in a moment when we go to your page, the Mentors University Supervisors page. But this is where they'll go, and they'll click on the correct binder, traditional or intern. It'll take them to the shared binder, and these are the directions here. please make sure you make a copy of it. Please visit the correct binder and first add a shortcut to your drive. Once it is in your drive, find the shortcut, find the shortcut, right click, and make a copy for yourself, and then share it with your university supervisor. You can go the reverse, and even with the cooperating teacher if that would be helpful. Remember to make your own copy and share it with your supervisor. So then everything you need will be in there, and all you'll have to do is start loading things in. And then these other things I haven't included in there yet. The only thing I've opened up for them is the welcome about the instructor, the Q&A link. This is the same link for you, for CP2, for CP1, same time, same day every week, Friday, 4 to 5. That is here, and it's optional, but please encourage your students, if they're really stuck, to come to the Q&A. And all I have open and available right now is session 1, as today is the 25th of October, the day before we start the next quad. So here's where their Zoom meeting link sits. Here's the overview of what they were going to be doing, and then the CP Forms training video that they'll be directed to complete. So this is the day before they meet and greet with their new supervisors. So this is what content they have access to now. The next thing I want to share with you is a very, very important tab for you as the university supervisor. This is where I've added the extra communication option here and tools. So when you come to people, all the students are listed here, of course. You will be listed here as a TA once your name gets in there. And then you will have access to this university supervisors group. The students will not. So when you come here, what you'll do is you'll do the same thing. I'm not going to add any students. The only people that are allowed to go in this group are TAs and teachers. So you're automatically have access to it. So when I click, left click on this 3 dots right here, there's a button that says Visit Group Homepage. So I'm going to click there, and that will go to the homepage of the university supervisors within Canvas. And there'll be one of these organized in each CP Canvas course. So as you can see here, I already have one discussion set up, and this is for questions and dialogue, for us to ask questions and talk back and forth throughout the quad. This is going to be very, very, very helpful for us to be able to, ask those questions and share those concerns privately with just us. If you need to talk to just me, of course, email me, but if it's something we can talk as a group that would be helpful to kind of hash out, then I'd be happy to do that here. Get response of everyone, so all you have to do is click reply and go here and you can type it in. So once again, the home page has the discussion appearing. It also, if you click on announcements, it has announcements here. So this is where I'm going to place, once I get you all loaded, I'm going to send the first announcement to trigger you guys to know where to go. But this is where the announcements will be. So you'll have the students' announcements on the main page, but then in the University Supervisor group page, this is where the announcements will be. Then these pages is what I want to be sure that you see. I have loaded some supports in here for you. First thing is the connection, the link to all those CP digital binders I was telling you about. The next one is the link to the Friday Q&A. You are welcome to come to ask questions and be sure you're up with what the students are hearing, or come in with your candidate to ask questions with me, the 3 of us together. I think it's a great way to communicate and to stay on the same page. And then here are the tutorials. I'm going to be making new ones, and I'm actually going to be putting this one on there too, but these are the ones from last quad so far. So you've got the CIVME tutorial, the competencies and forms tutorial, and the CP Canvas overview. This is going to be called, I think, the Supervisor tutorial, University Supervisor tutorial, and I'll add it here. So you can watch these all from this location. Instead of having that separate document, remember, just keep it all in the same place in Canvas. And then I have also made and added this. This is straight from the handbook, but I felt like with so many new people that this would be great to be sure I have a place to post what the responsibilities are. I know it's hard to keep up with everything. It's so insane right now. And if you're new, trying to catch on to what you have to do to support your candidate, it's a lot. So these are this straight from the handbook, but placed in here. It's these are the responsibilities of the university supervisor. And then I've included the timelines. These are also from the binder, but for an intern, this is what you should be doing each week. Be sure you're looking at that. This is what the teacher candidate should be doing, and this is what the university supervisor should be doing. And SMS is included in that, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then this is the timeline, excuse me, for traditional. So you can print those out, take those with you, whatever might be most helpful, or just come back and look at them every now and then. So what I'd like to do next is to go into the CP digital binder and kind of take a tour of that with you now. So it looks the same as it did for the students, but I'm gonna pick, let's just pick the intern binder. And I'm gonna go there. In order to make your own copy, I had to practice this myself. I don't think I can do it because, oh, I can. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this up at the top, intern binder, and I'm gonna click add shortcut to drive, okay? And when I do so, I'll show you what it looks like. Pretend like I clicked on it. And then I'm gonna go to my main page here. And I made a copy or added the shortcut for the traditional binder, so that's where we'll go. So here's the traditional binder. So then when I right click on this shortcut that's been added to my drive, now I can make a copy that will be all our own. So there it is, copy of traditional binder. So now I'm going to open it and I'm going to name it, you know, for my student. So let's name it something else. Let me go back. Let's name it, I'll just name it what it is for my students. I'll go ahead and share it with them. So let's rename Anthony Rosato CP2 binder. So there it is. So now what I want to be sure of, so now when I go to the renamed folder, the binder here, I'm going to go here and I'm going to share it with my my candidate, or vice versa. They'll share it with you. And I'll come here and I'm going to type their name in. Oops. And Point Loma account, of course. And I'm going to just say, here is our CP binder for fall quad 2. Glad to be working with you. That is not supposed to work. Okay. And I'm going to send it. Alright, and it has his name on it, and that's good to go. So now let's take a look inside. Okay, so now here is everything that's inside of this folder. We've got the competencies. So if we click on the competencies, every single competency for everyone is listed in here. Of course, you're going to only pick the one that you need. So there's multiple subject, single subject, and there are SPED, 3 different SPED competency charts as well. And then the CP handbook is here, a copy of the CP handbook. The daily lesson plans, a folder already and good to go for them to be putting their daily lesson plans in. A place to put their formal observations, which is the pre, mid, and final. And that is done by you through Taskstream. It's generated from Christy. You complete it, but you need to print it before you submit, print it or save it, I should say, and then send a digital copy to your candidate, or save it to send to them when you go over it with them and in your mid quad eval. And then the formal observations will go here for, and this would be, and I'm going to show you a document I've made for them to be sure they understand what's required. I'll go to that in a moment. And then permission slips and attestation form. This attestation form is required this quad. It is merely saying I have done everything I needed to do, I have contacted my school, I have filled out the permission slips, and so then they can just keep this here, have it signed, and put it back in this folder along with your permission slips, so they're here and ready to go if they are needed. The only thing that will be needed to load it into Taskstream is this attestation form, not the permission slips. And then Taskstream. Taskstream is so much to deal with that I put together, and apparently I didn't put it in this one, so let's go back to the binder. So in the Taskstream folder, I have put together this little visual infographic, if you will, for students to know what needs to be uploaded into Taskstream, so we're all on the same page. And anytime anything changes, I will update this and put a new one in here and send an announcement to say things have changed. So this is what their Taskstream will look like if this happens to be a multiple subject student, obviously. So they would load their competency chart in this section of Taskstream for that. In Lessons and Reflection, what goes there is 4 UDL formal lesson plans and 4 analysis reflections or 4 SIDME annotations. their clinical practice log, their daily lesson plans, 35 lesson plans, and they can get their personal lesson plans approved by Dr. Jill Hamilton Bunch if they want to use a different template. Weekly progress reflections for traditional only. Those should be done with their cooperating teacher every Friday. You might need to help the cooperating teacher know that that has to be happening. And then they review it with the candidate. And then the formative assessment summaries. What goes here is the pre, mid, and final. Pre only if they're traditional. And that comes from the University Supervisor. It doesn't need to come from the cooperating teacher, even though the cooperating teacher should complete one and give them a copy. And then a formative assessment summary, or 4 annotations if they're doing it in SIBME, okay? Here are the 4 formal observations. Here's the forms. I wanted to show people that it just seems like no matter how many times I go over them, they forget, or they just, because they're going through so much right now, they don't remember. So they can zoom in on this and make it bigger. I will do that right now so that you can see. For their 4 formal observations, these are the documents they need. They need the UDL templates, 4 of them right here. And it needs to be submitted to you digitally into the CP binder 24 hours in advance. If they go the live route in Zoom, they need the formative assessment summary and the analysis form. If they go the recorded version in SIBME, they need the SIBME annotations and also the SIBME annotations. So they need it twice, one for the formative assessment summary and one for the analysis and reflection. And there's a video of training for the 3 steps of annotations. Sorry, it's Sunday. My brain is having Sunday brain. One is the analysis, which is pretty much like this analysis form. I just take the analysis questions from it and I use those to trigger the first set of annotations from the student. The second is considered the formative assessment. This is when you're evaluating and using the TPEs. And the third is the reflection, the end of this form. Okay, so they're then responding to questions like what this form asks for reflections. So that's kind of how you can trigger it. It's 1 is the analysis by the student, the candidate, 2 the evaluation by you, the supervisor, and 3 the reflection by the candidate to wrap up their annotations that will be used both for the formative assessment summary and for the reflection. All right, here's the CP log. Here's a competency chart of what it looks like. That's what I get the question the most of. What does that look like? So this is generally what it looks like. It's got the 1, 2, 3, and 4. They need to get a 3 in order to pass that competency. Of course, they can get a 4 and have it complete. They can also have it filled out by their mentor at school if they're an intern, or by their principal. Anyone else who has seen them that's a someone in leadership or supporting them in their teaching practices can also look at this and sign off on a competency. So that's another second way they can get through this chart in 2 quads. It starts with them in CP1 and it finishes with them in CP2. Weekly progress reports every Friday. That's for traditional only. And here's what the pre, mid, and final evaluation looks like, and that they should be getting from you 3 times if they're traditional, 2 times if they are an intern. And then the daily lesson plan is back here, and the co-teaching form. This has kind of been dropped, and that's unintentional. So I'm trying to be more intentional to be able to be sure that if you have a traditional student, be sure you look in the handbook about the co-teaching section, okay? It's like a slow release process for a traditional student. So they start observing the teacher, the cooperating teacher, then they start co-teaching, and that's what this form is for here. And this can be used for 1 daily lesson plan a week, a co-teaching form. But other than that, it goes with the daily lesson plan, and that will be uploaded into Taskstream, okay? And then this is what I'll be using and what I have been using, only I made a graphic for it, of where they go in Taskstream and what numbers that they will be using to find their content. What I'd also like for you to see is how the binder folder itself is not only organized, but how each document goes into the binder. These up here are the forms that are needed, that are all in one place for you. This right down here, all of these documents, this is the exact order of how it would be printed and put in a binder if the student wants to do it by print. So this first page here is the overview of how the binder should be laid out. They have pre-tab information, then they have their clinical practice log. Then the second tab is daily lesson plans, third is weekly reports, 4 is formal assessments, and 5 is formal observations. And it gives them what should go into each section. And then so they can put that first. This is actually a binder cover if they would like to use it. So they can put it on the front of a binder. And then this is where the information, as it mentions here. So this is all the pre-tab information before tab number 1. So you've got your clinical practice information, you've got the candidate checklist, the university supervisor checklist, the cooperating teacher checklist, and then your triad timeline. And this would be the first tab. And in the tab has a few directions to be sure that they kind of know how to use some of the things that are in this tab. This is the clinical practice log. It tells them how many hours are required and what is necessary to be loaded into Taskstream. And then I also included here this CP hours doc. They're welcome to put that in the binder if they want, but just to remind them how many hours they need and what they can log. And then the second tab is their daily lesson plans. Here it says how many. It also says on that tab that they can ask Dr. Hamilton Bunch for their template from their school for their daily lesson plan to be approved. If it's approved, they can use that instead of the PLNU daily instructional plan, but here it is. Tab 3 is their weekly progress reports because this is a traditional student, so here's where these would sit. Tab 4, formal assessments, and that's what they look like here. In tab 5, formal observations, this is the UDL, the formative assessment, the analysis and reflection, and the co-teaching plan if they are to use it, which they will need to. So this could be directly printed out, and instead of saving each of these things in one of these folders up here, they could save it into the physical binder if they'd rather. But otherwise, this is the order that it should go in, and then as they save things, they can put them in these folders up here. I would also like to show you an SMS folder I've included in the digital binder, because for interns, this is what they seem to forget or don't know how to do, or I still have people asking me on this weekend after we've gone over it and they still haven't done anything yet. So I just want to be sure that you know that interns are required to do this. This is the document I give them, and this will be great for you to know as well. They required 37.5 hours per quad. It breaks it down by general support, EL support, and then also by how they can log their hours. Down here it also says support hours to be logged by the university or district. So think of it this way. There's 3 people reporting hours that are working together. The intern are reporting their hours that are like whatever's here, listed here, suggestions. You as a university supervisor are logging hours. And then the district mentor is logging hours as well. And that's all done through SMS, which is Kern County. So this is the hours, how it breaks down. And then this is how to get into the support management system. So this is for the mentor and for you, truly, how they get on and how they get started in the process. It seems to me that no one ever remembers that they have an account, if they do or they don't. So this will take them to where they need to go to be able to do that, and give them the details on how to do so. Also here are new user registration directions, okay? So where to go, although I am not seeing the website. That would be super helpful, wouldn't it? So I'll put that up on the screen for you right now. So there's the website for you to go to, and that will be there for you, and these are the directions. So I just wanted to be sure you know these resources are here for you, for the mentor, and for the candidate. And so going back to Canvas, that's all the tools that I have for you right now. As I add them, I will be adding them here within the University Supervisor's homepage, okay? Which once again, if I go back, reminder, when I go to the main page, I've clicked on the Canvas class, again, excuse me, the Canvas class, and I have all these buttons down the left. In order to get to my home page for the mentors, the university supervisors, I click on People, University Supervisors Group, and then the 3 dots, Visit Group Homepage, and then all the resources are here, including any resources that I just shared with you are listed here. But then, as I mentioned, please go through and see what the students are seeing. That will help you kind of get an understanding of what they're being told in CP. But I just want to say, as always, thank you for the time you spend with our candidates. They need you desperately, and you are a lifeline to them, and we can't thank you enough for what you do for them. So bless you and good luck in our next quad. Thank you.